I don't believe in the pay for play so much. I talked to guys who before, and some guys that are in media now that were former athletes. And you get a 50-50 take on that a lot of times, but I think a lot of the guys, they appreciated the fact that it wasn't a pay for play situation. And that the reason why I bring that into this is because if you're going to start doing those type of things and then restricting these guys from where they can and can't transfer, I mean, you might as well call them contract workers, because that's really what it comes down to. I think you kind of start seeing things of you start losing the amateurism of this when you start doing that. And not only that, I kind of question what if he's transferring to a school that has a major that he's interested in? What if he's transferring to a school for other reasons outside of it being a school that's in direct competition with the university you've been with? So for me, I feel like I kind of feel like this has raised a really large stink, but it's also raised, I think, a lot of eyebrows, and it's a topic that we have to discuss and think if there's anything that needs to be changed in that model.
We also bring in Will Gunter from Fox Sports there in Columbia and Greenville, South Carolina. Hey, Will, how you doing tonight?
Hey, good to see you guys. How you doing?
Doing just fine. So before we get to South Carolina talk, we're raising the issue that Kirby Smart brought up in regards to player movement around the nation and from campus to campus, and their ability to transfer, and whether the coaches should have any say in that. So what's your say in this one, Will?
And I apologize. I've missed what's been said. My initial thought, I think it's a case-by-case basis. In the situation for Kirby Smart with Mark Rick, I'm pro-player anytime you get a coach that leaves. It's wildly unfair that a coach can up and leave without penalty, but we make a player, or the NCAA makes a player have to sit out a year of eligibility, or in this case with what's happened with Kirby Smart and A.J. Terman, potentially even lose a year of eligibility if indeed he wanted to transfer to, in this case, Miami. Listen, the stipend is one thing, I get it, but there's no compensation here. I do think that you have to be very careful and very selective with each and every process to not open the door to constant recruiting, even when a player is enrolled at a university. But in the case like this, I think when you have a coaching change or a coach is fired, every player should be allowed to transfer if necessary without penalty. And if that's what A.J. Terman wants to do and go to Miami, you know what? He should be allowed to do it without penalty.
David, I think I've got a pretty good clue on where you side on this one. What's the deal?
Pretty much the same with these guys. And, a lot of this comes down to, when a player transfers, it's, more than likely it's not a superstar player. It's a guy who's not getting a lot of playing time. And I've always went back to the point of, why does it matter where he goes? If he wasn't good enough to play on your team, why would you be afraid of him going somewhere else? Yeah, there's a principle behind it of, yes, we don't want guys just up and leaving whenever they don't feel the right or don't feel like working to get the starting position. But some guys are not going to see the field. So why is a coach holding these guys back to, maybe further their chance? Maybe they get a better opportunity somewhere else to help their draft stock, in the later years of their career. And I don't see how coaches can just sit there and tell guys, you can go here, you can't go there. It should be open. It should be unrestricted. You can't hold these players back, as these guys have said they're not getting paid, as what we know of. But these guys most of the guys transfer are not the stars. So what are these coaches afraid of letting these guys go somewhere else and play?
Okay, let's look at the student side of things. And what Chad alluded to was, let's say a particular player is a very academic-oriented guy, and he changes a major, and he's got a better opportunity at another university that specializes in that major. Let's say the player is very football-minded, and for many of the reasons that you guys state, you would think it would be difficult to get to the next level, the NFL, if you can't make it at your university. But we know what kind of talent is stockpiled at places like Alabama and LSU in particular. We saw Matt Castle start a string of football games in the NFL after he couldn't get on the field at USC. So there are examples like that, like we did not see 15, 20 years ago, of guys not being able to step on the field and be very productive in college, but somehow make their way to the NFL, and it speaks to the imbalance of power in college football. I can't imagine that we can't give that freedom to a player, but as I believe you stated today, David, on the Twitter chain there is that these coaches can pretty much up and leave and do whatever they want, regardless of what they said yesterday. And in addition to that, they're contractually obligated to fulfill a contract, and that seems to typically be worked out in some way, shape, or form. Maybe they miss out on a contract extension or a bonus and miss out on future guaranteed money, but the coaches up and leave, and they're contractually committed, and they're adults, and I would hate to bring the NCAA even further into this, but if there could be some type of rules and regulations placed on coaches contacting players, much like the recruiting situation, once they're enrolled at another university. I would hate again to bring the NCAA into further power to be able to legislate this stuff, but that might become an issue, and something that would have to be legislated is the contact between a coach and another coach's player.